last survivor of U.S. Slav ships discovered. The last known survivor of the transatlantic slave ships, brought to the U.S. in 1860, has been identified by an academic at Newcastle University. Sally Smith was kidnapped from West Africa by Slav traders and lived until 1937 in Alabama, staying on the plantation where she had been enslaved. Anna Durkin made the discovery while researching first-hand accounts, archives and census records. The previous last known survivor had been a former slave who died in 1935. Dr. Durkin says it almost seems shocking that the story is so close to living memory. The woman, who was named Sally Smith in the U.S. but had originally been called Ridoshi, was kidnapped by slave traders in 1860 from a village in what is now Benin. Dr. Durkin believes she was 12 years old when she was transported on one of the last Slav ships to go to the U.S., along with more than 100 other men, women and children. She was brought by an Alabama banker and plantation owner and was given his surname of Smith. Even though slavery was abolished 5 years after her arrival in the U.S., Ridoshi remained working on the same estate, with her husband, who had also been abducted from West Africa, and their daughter. The researchers say she stayed on that same plantation for more than 70 years after the end of slavery, and was the last known person from the generation who made the enforced crossing from Africa. Dr. Durkin says some details of Ridoshi's story had been recorded in the 20th century, when historians and civil rights activists began to document the experiences of people brought in slavery from Africa. Putting together the pieces of the story, and matching it with census and public records, Dr. Durkin found that Ridoshi had lived in Selma, Alabama, until her death, at about 89 or 90. There would be slaves with who lived later, such as those born into slavery as children, but none of those abducted from Africa is so far known to have lived later than Ridoshi. Ridoshi's stories recorded living a peaceful life before being seized by members of another local tribe and brought to Slav traders. She faced a Slav regime of beatings, whippings and killings, but, Dr. Durkin's research says, there are glimpses of her resistance, showing she passed on some of her original language to her daughter and maintained her African culture and identity. It's only one voice, but this gives us a semblance of a voice for those who are otherwise lost, says Dr. Durkin.